What is up, fantasy footballers? Welcome to Fantasy Planet, the fantasy football podcast. I'm Alec. We got Jack here.
Howdy.
And special guest today, we have Dallas.
What's up?
So we got you when it comes to all things fantasy football, helping you destroy your league mates, and of course, securing that championship title, maybe winning some money along the way, and of course, giving you that astronomical advantage, like always. So today we have our breakouts and busts to go over. But before we get into that, we have our recent NFL news. First of all, we have Melvin Gordon signing with the Ravens. He honestly got a pretty good deal compared to the RB market and how it's going right now. He got a 1 year, $3 million. That seems generous to me for Melvin Gordon. What do you think?
I mean, the only thing we're thinking of right now is how that affects Dobbins because he's basically the only running back getting drafted in that offense.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I had Javonte last year for a few weeks before he got hurt, and Melvin Gordon kind of hurt him a lot. But do I think Melvin Gordon will affect Dobbins much? Probably not. I don't think so.
We know the Ravens historically have liked to spread the ball out when it comes to the running backs, but
I mean, but if you take a look at the running backs of the past few years, they've all been like, none of them have been like to the
Great.
talent like
No.
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah,
you know
J.K.
what I mean?
Dobbins.
He's definitely the best running back.
He's
they've
had,
had.
like-
Melvin Gordon, Melvin
Yeah.
Gordon's not that good anymore. It's just
Yeah.
been pretty rough for him lately.
we've had like
Yeah.
5 yards per carry for Dobbins. He's super efficient. This just makes you a little bit more concerned, that's all. Maybe bump him down a spot or two in your RB rankings. Next up, we got Nyheim Hines. Unfortunately, tore his ACL on a jet ski.
That's tough.
But for fantasy, reports out of camp were that he had a chance to be not only the punt and kick returner, but the third down back as well. So for me, this bumps up James Cook a little bit, makes you more confident that he can have that third down role, get some more receiving work. Anything else?
No. I like James Cook. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
I like James
unfortunate.
Cook even more.
It's unfortunate.
Hines wasn't going to get any goal line work.
No, it's
Cook probably still won't.
just,
Yeah. But
Alright.
what is Hines' deal with like his contract with the Bills? Is it just 1 year?
I think he has, a year or two left.
Okay. Well, I know that he was on. All right, whatever.
He's getting up there in
We
age.
can move
But
on.
bigger news, of course, we have Saquon Barkley, 1 year deal,
Oof.
$11 million. He's not going to be holding out. Can be more confident in him. What else do we think?
Yeah, no, that's unfortunate that Saquon didn't get that long-term deal. We know the Giants want him for a long time, and that just hurts
Yeah.
them.
Also, something to add on to the Saquon thing was running backs that held out, and then kind of signed like a contract closer to the season, like Saquon kind of did here, was they declined in points, just by a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I wouldn't say that's too concerning since it's Saquon.
Yeah, I saw
but
that too.
It's like
I think
just a little red
the main
flag for
takeaway
me.
from that stat is like it's because they are not in training camp practicing with the team. So when they do return from their holdout, they're not in as good of a shape. They're not with the team, with the playbook. So it takes them a little bit to bounce back.
Yeah.
Moving on to another important running back. Javonte Williams was not on the PUP to start training camp. This is a big deal because they could have put him on the PUP in training camp and taken him off whenever before the season. That's how it goes when you put him on that list in the off season, but they didn't. So this shows they're pretty confident in him being ready for week 1. I honestly thought Breece Hall and Javonte Williams, their situations would kind of be flipped here because Breece Hall had a clean ACL tear and Javonte Williams kind of destroyed his whole knee. But positive to see him looking good to return soon. Quarterback Justin Herbert signed a $260 million deal for 5 years, and he's going to make $100 million in 2025 alone, which is $20 million more than the previous high. Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just you take a look at how much these quarterbacks are getting paid. The best quarterbacks in the game getting paid this much versus the best running backs in the game getting paid like
Right. Yeah.
almost
Well-
$40 million less.
Right.
Per year,
But,
yeah.
Quarterbacks they're so much more important in today's game.
Well, yeah, I'd say
But
running
I
back.
don't know. Herbert's been.
It's hard to say this, but running backs probably one at least the more important positions.
Dallas, would you
on the
say-
team, but-
Would you say offensive line is more important to an NFL team than the running back himself?
Yes. If you
Yeah.
have a good offensive line, the running
That's
back
the
can
thing.
just
Yeah.
that's
Because-
I mean,
that could just
you also
run.
could bring up the Dallas. You probably know about this, but Zach Martin holding out
Yeah,
for
that's
the
what I was just gonna
Cowboys,
say.
not showing up to training camp.
That's no.
But you think he should get paid?
Dallas is
right?
a Cowboys
yeah.
fan,
Yeah,
obviously
so-
with his name being Dallas.
Zach. I'm
Watch
scared
out,
about
he
Zach
will
Martin.
be biased when we
He just
get to
I don't know.
rankings and stuff.
Yeah.
Sleepers, but
Yeah, Herbert. They obviously believe in him. He's great talent, but he just hasn't been able to win in the big games. But that's about it. Yeah.
With Herbert, this just makes you a little bit more confident that I mean, we knew this was the Chargers guy, but you can move him up maybe 1 or 2 spots, knowing the Chargers are dedicated to throwing the ball and just really trusting him. But now that wraps up the recent news. We're going to head over to our breakouts and busts. The way we'll be doing it is we'll each go through. We'll start off with quarterbacks, bust and breakout, then running back, so on until we get to tight end. All right, so for our QB breakouts and busts, Dallas had a big one right here.
I got T. Law. He's probably the best quarterback prospect since, said to be the best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning. You know, great arm talent, great rushing ability. Played great last year, and I think he's going to be the MVP running. And I think he's gonna go crazy this year. He's gonna go crazy this year. It's gonna be a step up from last year, at least like.
so you really
35
trust
touchdowns.
the Jaguars offense this year?
Kind of.
Like I said
I
last
think-
episode,
Well, I mean, if you have them in the MVP
I mean, yeah, I
running,
mean,
you
just-
gotta trust their offense.
Well, yeah.
They only-
because T-Law.
in the playoffs, they only
respect
lost
it.
the Chiefs by 3. Like,
Yeah,
this
they're-
could be a
they're
very good team.
I think they're a good team.
But we did see T-Law break out a little bit last year.
Just a little bit.
We think he can
Nothing
take a
crazy.
massive step forward again
Only
this year.
24 touchdowns, but I think he get 35 plus this year, honestly.
Anything else on him?
No, that's about it.
You have a bust?
I do have a bust. Geno Smith. No upside. The O-line's not that good, so he's going to be pressured a lot. Rushing stats are mid, and inconsistent quarterback rating in 2022. It just jumped around versus good teams. It was weird. Like sometimes it was versus bad teams. He had like a horrible QBR, and then sometimes against good teams he had. It was just inconsistent QBR rating. It's just I don't trust Geno Smith at all. I don't like him as a quarterback. Just overall.
Yeah, my only thing with Geno is that he finished quarterback, it's 5 or 6 last year overall. But like we said, there is a reason he wasn't a starting quarterback for the first 10 years of his career. So,
Yeah.
but it looks like with their draft picks, JSN, Charbonnet, that they're committed to this offense and letting him kind of rip loose. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I got something to say. Yeah, Alex just said they add with the addition of JSN, I think the best wide receiver of this draft class. With him, so that's 3 wide receivers right there. That's a great wide receiver. And while Dallas just said that you didn't like the O-line, right?
No.
The O-line was bad last year, and we kind of still saw what he did with that O-line. I mean, there's nothing that can really tell you that he's gonna all of a sudden be bad this year because of the O-line. I mean, he produced well with it last year. I think he'll produce well with it this year too, with that kind of bad O-line. But I trust Geno.
Yeah. All right. A big breakout I have is Justin Fields. Obviously, in our last episode, me and Jack both agree on him as our quarterback floor, which is relatively high.
That's pretty high.
Yeah. But as we saw him average less than 150 passing yards a game last year. Abysmal.
I mean, he's still good.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, he was
the
still
rushing,
yeah.
the
I mean,
rushing.
The rushing.
Yeah, I was going to say
carried him, though.
80 rushing yards a game on
I
average.
mean, just what imagine he can do with some decent passing. Then he's
Yeah.
yeah.
We put the graphic up, we had the stats. He's the worst passing offense in the last 10 years was the Bears last year.
And also, you got to bring up the point of the addition of DJ Moore.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
we think the
DJ
Bears
Moore will
offense
help.
will step forward.
DJ Moore's great.
He'll step forward as passer. I thought it was kind of interesting. He said he would guarantee that he'd throw 4,000 yards this year. That might be a little reach considering what he did
Stretch.
last year, but he also said he was a top 5 rushing quarterback ever. He was like, there's Mike Vick, there's
I mean,
some other guys, and me, of course, up there with him.
if he continues to rush like this, then I think that would be true.
Yeah.
And like with him
Yeah.
saying he is going to get 4,000 passing yards, I mean, he has to be confident in himself if he wants to be a good quarterback. Because obviously, like every player has to be confident in themselves to want to be good in the NFL.
We just saw the NFL 100 top 100 player rankings. I don't know if it's legit, but Fields was like 85 overall, and T-Law was like 95. And Dallas was like crying about it, like, "Oh my God, my
That's
breakout!
horrible. It's
What is
horrible.
this?"
Since when do you love T-Law so much?
So he's just a great player. He's just a great
Alright,
player. What do you mean
alright.
I love T-Law?
I don't know. I just never hear you talk about him.
That's
that
just
much.
I think that was just horrible. Like that's T-Law took his team to the playoffs, and then Justin Fields has 150, not even 150 passing yards a game. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but he finished as the quarterback 6 last year.
Yeah, but fantasy.
Yes, in fantasy.
But I'm talking about
okay.
the top 100 is different than
I'm
fantasy.
kind of with you in the top 100 part there, but fantasy,
Yeah,
while throwing less than 150 yards a game, he was quarterback 6. If he even improves that a little bit,
That's crazy.
you could see our
Did he start the
Hurts
whole
type
season?
jump or a Lamar Jackson type jump.
He started the whole season last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on to our running back breakouts and busts. Jack, what do you have for this?
So first up, for my first RB breakout, I have Rashad White of Tampa Bay. So
This is my running back breakout as well.
obviously no more Fournettes, and they didn't draft another running back, so no competition there. And when he was started last year, he averaged over 100 yards per game and 15 points a game. And also, that's just that offense is not going to be good, and I think they'll have to kind of rely on him with just he'll be the runner. He catches he caught passes. I mean, I think that's what they had him for last year, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess Fournette
I got a-
kinda caught
I
a
got
lot
a
of
stat
passes,
there.
but
he finished as 11th among running backs in receptions as a
Jeez.
rookie, even with Fournette in the mix, catching
yeah.
3+ balls a game.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
the only thing that's it's not a red flag, but it's a little bit of concern is that Tom Brady liked to dump the ball off to running
He
backs
did.
a lot, and with Baker in there now, it's like I don't know if that'll repeat. I'm not sure.
But if you think about it, even half as many dump offs, now that they're all going to Rashad White,
Yeah.
it's the same production as he had last
Oh
year.
yeah, no, he's
Mhm.
yeah. I agree with that. I agree with all that. It's good take. So for me, I got Alexander Madison. Obviously with Dalvin Cook gone, he's the number one now. As we've seen in the past, he's filled in greatly when Cook has been hurt many times before. I mean, he was getting at least 15 fantasy points, and he's just in decent O-line. I think Alexander Madison's going to fill in greatly for Dalvin Cook, and he's just going to be a great focal point of the offense.
Yeah, with him, it's all about the volume. We think, maybe we're biased, but this Viking offense will be good.
Oh yeah, no, that's not biased. They're going to be great.
Yeah. I mean, they do throw a lot. Especially, we're not going to expect that to drop too much without Cook. They're still going to throw the ball so much. But Madison in the red zone and just first, second down guy. Behind him, we have, Ty Chandler. That's it. One other rookie guy. if he
Right.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Going back to Rashad White quick. In week 12, Fournette was out. His one game without Fournette, he scored 19.9 fantasy points. That's really good. He had 6 catches, so it's not like it got skewed because of the catches. Also, if you're in a non-PPR league, you're going to want to bump him down. But, of course, PPR, he gets that massive boost. Did you have a running back bust?
I'll talk about just one of them. Tony Pollard. I mean, I'm not going to talk about Tony Pollard, but Tony Pollard. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, you don't have to call that a breakout.
Breakout? Okay.
But
Sorry.
But Isaiah Pacheco for breakout took the starting job late in the season. Great intensity, hard runner, and then great offensive scheme from the Chiefs. And last year in the playoffs, he had 5 yards a carry, and that's versus the best teams in the NFL. So I think he's going to do great this next coming year.
The only thing I have against Pacheco is the no receiving work he gets.
Right? Yeah.
It's basically all on the ground, which
right.
I mean, he probably still could do pretty well on the ground because of the Chiefs' offense, and they're going to be scoring a lot. But
Right. Yeah.
Well-
Yep.
it's just he doesn't have as much.
I think
he
he'll
doesn't have the upside that I think of
Right.
Rashad White,
Yeah.
even Alexander Madison probably too. He doesn't have
No,
that type of
but
receiving
I
upside
just-
like those
yeah.
players.
Actually, at first glance, it looks like that, but actually went in and did some game log in-depth research, and towards the end of the year, he had a playoff game. Like, I don't remember. I think it was divisional week. He had 5 catches on like 6 or 7 targets.
Yeah, no, he'll definitely get some volume
Like,
there.
especially with
If you
McKinnon
It's-
going into his age 31, 32 season.
Jeez,
Like,
he is old.
he got really lucky in the touchdown department and receiving last year. Pacheco could definitely take a little bit of that. There is CEH there, but I think Pacheco's the better player, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to look at just one game, but
I know,
Really
but
low.
I mean,
But I think
it's
he'll get
possible
more
for him to
this
do
year,
that. That's
I
what I'm
see.
saying.
this year. They'll probably
Okay.
get.
My second breakout RB is James Cook of Buffalo Bills, and obviously Singletary's gone, Damian Harris in, which honestly is a lot better because Damian Harris is all groundwork. That's all he's gonna take from
Mhm.
Singletary. Still had kind of the mixture of both groundwork and receiving work last year. That kind of he stole a lot from
Mhm.
what Cook would have had if
I
he
actually,
wasn't there.
I have Cook listed as a sleeper, so you'll see us talk about that in our next episode.
Yeah.
But so I don't want to touch on this too much, but for me, the Harris for Singletary thing, it's like Harris's main work is short yardage work and goal line work, and James Cook wasn't going to get that anyway, especially with Josh Allen. So
Right.
James Cook's work, and I talked about too with Naeem Hines, he could get more third down opportunity. James Cook, his workload, his area of,
I mean, Cook saw increase in snaps as the year went on last year, just kept going up throughout the whole year, and the Bills' offense is great. So
yeah, he has a talent.
Being a running back that's going to be catching a lot of passes in a team that scores a lot, it's really good.
Yeah.
And I think if he can kind of hopefully beat out Damian Harris, he probably, I think he'd be RB2.
RB2, like,
On a
oh,
fantasy
and
team.
RB2.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Lastly, for my RB breakouts, I got Miles Sanders. So Sanders now in the Panthers. He just rushed for over 1,000 yards at Philly, and basically Foreman's gone from the Panthers, and the only thing they got now is Hubbard. And Foreman beat out Hubbard last year, so that kind of shows you there really wasn't much there last year with those two. I know Alec liked Foreman last year, but
I did. Like
I don't think he's all that. And we saw what CMC can do with this team. I mean, obviously, Miles Sanders isn't no CMC. If he gets anywhere the type of volume that CMC had there, he's still going to be a great running back. I mean, it looks like Dallas disagrees with me over there, but
yeah, he's gonna be a 3-down back.
yep.
Like, but kind of like Madison, except the Panthers. The only concern with him is the Panthers aren't gonna be very good.
No.
I think people view Sanders as a guy that can't catch passes.
Mhm.
I think it's just that Philly didn't want him to, especially with Hurts. Hurts didn't really throw running backs. I
Panthers-
think Sanders could catch a lot more passes with Carolina.
Panthers are also I think they're kind of more run-heavy offense, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, and because last year the Panthers produced 2 RBs that averaged over 4.5 yards per carry and combined over 1,013 yards on the ground, so it's great. I think Miles Sanders is heading into a great fit over there in Carolina.
Yeah, this Carolina team could actually. I think they'll outperform expectations by a little bit. No one's really expecting them to be good, but Bryce Young, number 1 overall
lot of
pick.
close games.
Like,
Mhm.
There'll be a lot of close games. I think they'll have like 5 wins, but like they'll have a lot of close games.
yeah, and like if I'm the coach of the Panthers, on third downs, I want Sanders out there instead of Hubbard personally. So
Yeah.
Sanders can still get this receiving work over Hubbard for sure.
Yeah.
You got another breakout?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, I have a bunch of busts here. I have Travis Etienne. This might be a little controversial, but I'm not a fan. With him coming out of college, like at Clemson, everybody viewed him as a great pass catching back. But Jaguars last year, he had 2.1 catches per game. It's just not good.
No, it's
So at that point, we know he can catch passes. He's not going to, especially with the addition of Calvin Ridley. That's more targets for a different wide receiver, taking away from Etienne again. I don't think he'll have less than he did last year, but I don't think he's going to have as much opportunity still to keep growing as a catcher. I don't think that'll happen. So basically then you're like, okay, well, he's on this great offense that can get rushing work, and there's no one behind him. I just drafted Tank Bigsby in the 3rd round. obviously they wouldn't have spent a pick on him if they're confident in ETN getting all this work. ETN has a bad O-line. So there's just too many red flags for me to rely on this guy as a consistent low-end RB1 or high-end RB2 for me. I mean, of course, he's still on this great offense, but I can't trust it as much.
I also just want to add that I think I agree with everything Alec just said, and with that being said, he's getting drafted too high where he's at right now in ESPN and almost anything. I think he's getting drafted too high.
That's fair. Yeah, I think right now I have him, I can check, but I have him at RB 17, right above Sanders. But I have guys like Madison, even James Conner above him. So there's just so many red flags for me. I like him as a player, like I think he's great, but the moves the Jaguars have done have pointed to them not wanting him to be a 3-down workhorse back.
I know. I could see him being like a bust, or I could see him being like really good. Like he has huge ceiling, but he's really talented player. But yeah, I agree with Alec.
I agree. There's a high range of outcomes. Like he could finish as RB5 or above.
But that's it. I don't think so.
Everything had to go right for that to happen.
I don't think so.
My next bust, I have Kenneth Walker. I cannot get myself to draft this guy. They drafted Zach Charbonnet in the second round, JSN. Charbonnet will be the clear pass-catching back. I have Charbonnet actually as a sleeper, and Tank Bigsby also as a sleeper. I'll talk about those guys later. The Seahawks want to let Geno throw. They draft a pass-catching running back. They draft a very, very good wide receiver 3. Like Jack said, he thinks the best wide receiver in this class. They're not committed to Walker running the ball every first and second down. Walker obviously didn't catch passes. He's not going to still.
He never even did that in college. He didn't catch passes in
So,
college.
honestly, you're looking at him as a touchdown-dependent guy.
Yep.
In non-PPR, bump him up. Otherwise, I can't get myself to draft this guy.
He's also kind of like a breakaway kind of running back.
Yeah.
Who had a lot of
I mean, he's
breakout
super
runs
talented,
last year.
just
and it's
unfortunate.
Yeah,
I think he kind of had a lucky season last
and
year.
the Seahawks,
great player, though.
Seahawks O-line is just not.
He's still a
very
great
good.
runner.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just for fantasy. We
Dallas-
want more than that.
Dallas, you have RB bust?
I'm going to talk about Delvin Cook, which I think this is pretty obvious to why he's probably going to be a bust. This might be controversial because he is getting old for a running back. I mean, 5 years in the league, that's about getting past your prime. Too many minor injuries, just can't trust him. I know that's not a good reason, but that's just, I feel like too many minor injuries he's had. And wherever he goes, I don't think he'll gel quickly. He won't get into the offense. As like they'll have to ease him in, and then it'll just be a big mess. And I just don't like it at all.
It all depends on where he goes.
Yeah,
like,
I was about to say that. Depends
like-
where he goes.
Miami, obviously, that's going to be a great fit, like for fantasy purposes, of course.
I
If
mean,
you see him going somewhere like Patriots or
but if you think
Bucks,
about it, if
I
he
guess.
goes to the Patriots, you think he'll take away from. I think he's splitting with Ramondre if he goes to Patriots. There's just not many NFL teams out there that need a running back
Right.
like Delvin Cook that will
Yeah.
give them
No,
the
this-
workhorse running back that'll be on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's gonna.
He'll
Most teams
def-
don't need a workhorse
and he's gonna be
running back.
He'll
chasing
definitely
that
no, and
money
he'll be
too.
splitting. He'll
Yeah.
be splitting because he's just getting
Yeah, a bunch of concerns still.
right.
We'll reevaluate too once he does sign.
I got another one. Derrick Henry, just getting old. O-line's not that good anymore. And then like this might sound stupid, but like he gets too many carries to where the defense knows what's going to happen, so he gets like 2 yards a carry, so like it's basically nothing. I just think, and just it's just getting not that good. It's just becoming a workhorse running back that only gets around, I think probably only going to get like maybe 75 yards a game. I just don't think he's going to be that good this year.
I have a question for you, Dallas. Do you
Yes.
think the addition of DeAndre Hopkins helps or
Oh,
hurts his fantasy stock?
Oh, that definitely does not help it. Because
I
they're going to
personally,
want to throw it some more because, DeAndre Hopkins.
I personally think it will. I don't think
Really?
they're gonna throw it too much more. Of course, he's gonna demand these targets, but they had
Right.
no one to throw to before they
I
signed
guess,
Hopkins.
right, yeah.
And also me and Jack talked about this in the Hopkins' recent news last video. Derrick Henry's two main concerns are injuries, still there, of course. I mean, getting old.
Yeah.
And
sure.
his second concern was the terrible offense.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard for them to run.
So bad.
But now with Hopkins, they're expected to be better. I don't know, but
It's like
there always is
Dallas.
that age
I mean,
concern.
It's like Dallas would just said like about teams stack the box. I mean, when you have the addition of DeAndre Hopkins,
yeah.
great wide receiver, they won't be able to
Yeah,
do
no,
that as
I
much.
could see that. Like, yeah,
Because there's a threat on the outside.
yeah,
now
no, there's
and
a
that's
threat,
over.
I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah, no, I could see that, but I just still don't think he's gonna be very good at all. I just think he's gonna be like.
Where do you think he'll finish? Since you have him as a bust.
I don't have a. Jeez, I don't have a list, so that's kind of hard to go off.
Maybe you finish
So he's probably
below
going,
or above RB10. How about that?
Like barely under 10, like not under, but like over, so like 11, 12.
Okay. My last RB bust, our last RB bust is Dameon Pierce. They brought in Devin Singletary. Pierce saw 3 targets a game as a rookie. And this is really concerning considering the Texans are a terrible offense. So he's going to need to be catching passes, but he just doesn't. The Texans were bad last year. He didn't catch passes. Catch a few, but he's going to need to catch more to stay relevant in this terrible offense that's not going to be able to run considering their game script. And yeah, I don't want the RB1, especially if it's a 1A, 1B situation on the NFL's worst offense, possibly.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I agree.
All right. Heading to wide receiver breakouts. Jack, what do we got?
For wide receiver breakouts, I have Hollywood Brown.
Interesting.
There's a couple.
Yeah, that is interesting.
There's a couple red flags in them, but I'm going to go into what I like about him first. Second season with the Cardinals. New offensive coordinator. Sounds like he's gonna kind of be more in the pass game. Sounds like it. I'm not 100% sure, but Cardinals are probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
They're going to need to be passing a lot. Granted, Kyler Murray, they say Kyler Murray's like, he says he's going to be ready for week 1, right? But that's
I don't think so.
definitely
That's a
not.
stretch.
Yeah, that's definitely a stretch. I don't think he'll probably be back till middle of the season is probably like the best occasion. But
My concern mainly with Hollywood is there is that injury concern. He's going to get banged up a little bit. But now that Hopkins is gone as well, there was a game last year with Colt McCoy where Hopkins had 10 targets, 1 reception. Like, I'm just a little nervous that could happen with Hollywood. Everybody, not the quality of targets are bad. He's going to get a ton of targets, of course,
Yeah.
but the quality is not going to be good.
Hollywood, he still averaged 8 targets when Murray was gone. So I mean that's not terrible. 8 targets is doable because you
Especially
probably
with Hopkins, that's good.
catch 5 or 6 passes off of that, and I don't know. I like him where he's getting drafted at. ESPN his ADP is 81, and underdog is 60. I really like that ESPN ADP at 81.
That's like
I'm targeting him a lot of leagues right now.
Of course, underdog, the wide receivers get pushed up, but he's still going as like your wide receiver 30, 35. I mean,
And
at
I didn't
that
even
point, he has so much upside. I like it.
I didn't even bring this up because this is really obvious, but Hopkins is gone, so he's clear number 1 option for receiving on the team. That's why I like him a lot.
It's actually
Alright.
good.
Me and Dallas both have Garrett Wilson as a
Yes.
wide receiver breakout. Dallas, what do you got?
I mean, last year he already proved he's good wide receiver 1, but now he has one of the best quarterbacks of all time. You know, little old, but you know, high ceiling this year with such a good offense and good quarterback. I mean, that's just self-explanatory, I feel like.
Yeah, I have, especially with Rodgers coming in, he should get a little less unlucky in the touchdown department. He had 4 touchdowns last year with 8 expected touchdowns, so a little more positive regression to the mean there. And last year's quarterbacks were Mike White, Zach Wilson, awful guys. Like Dallas said, Rodgers coming in will help him a lot. We've been seeing highlights already coming out of training camp of his catches.
Oh yeah, no, insane.
He's a clear wide receiver 1, like Dallas said. He finished wide receiver 21 last year with these bad quarterbacks. You have another wide receiver breakout?
No, I don't.
All right, my second guy is Chris Olave.
good one.
We've got an upgrading quarterback here to Derek Carr. His target share was 27% as a rookie.
Jeez.
As a rookie, that's really impressive.
That
He's
is
a
good.
vertical threat, of course. His average depth of target was, I think, 7th in the NFL as a rookie. I'm just saying he could be Derek Carr's Devontae, the go-to guy on every down he throws. I don't see many other guys out of this Saints passing offense. Well, Michael Thomas is always a really weird one, but they have, Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Johnson. They just signed Jimmy Graham, which is very weird to me.
None
but
of these guys will. Yeah.
Yeah, and he went back-to-back picks with Garrett Wilson in the draft. I just looked. He was He was 11th overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft. He was teammates with Wilson in college. They basically shared. So, like, now you see Wilson going as, like, a fringe wide receiver 1 in drafts. Olave has that kind of talent. We're just going to need to see the quarterback play. Obviously, he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, but Derek Carr is a very serviceable quarterback.
Yeah.
He should be pretty good this
Should give
year.
them all the Olave, and it should be good from there.
I don't know if it's really relevant, but Olave, in 2 of his first 3 NFL games, he had 13 targets in each game, 2 of those 3 games. So that's kind of crazy to me that they lean on him this heavy. They trust this guy. They want this guy as their offensive focal point. Yeah. You have another wide receiver breakout?
Yeah, I have one more. DJ Moore. Not great last year because of, the quarterback situation in Carolina. Just very, like, P.J. Walker. And then Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold.
It's pretty bad if you don't even know.
Yeah, well, Sam Darnold. It was Sam Darnold.
There's the Russian quarterback who's been in the XFL for a while. I forgot his name.
P.J. Walker. Yeah,
P.J. Walker.
I already said that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Anyway, now, but with Fields, I know, Fields wasn't good last year, but I think he's going to be much improved this year. Number 1 option for Fields. And it's already proved that he can be a consistent receiver. I had him 2 years ago in fantasy, and he was averaging around 16 to 20 points a game, and it was just he proved that he can be a consistent receiver week in and week out. So I like DJ Moore this year a lot.
I think all 3 of us but we expect the Bears offense to be a lot more productive this year. Heading over to our wide receiver bus. Jack's got a good one here.
Yeah. My first bust is Kadarius Toney of the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think the expectations for Toney going into this year are way too high. Like, Mahomes threw for over 5,000 yards last year and still didn't produce a top 35 wide receiver in fantasy football.
Yeah, no,
which is kind of crazy because
that is
this
crazy.
is a super talented guy.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey eats up a lot of targets on the team, and
they still have so much more. We saw Mahomes support
and Mahomes,
Kelsey and Tyreek Hill.
I mean, we haven't seen. I remember. You guys remember before last year, Mahomes was like, he was spreading. He's like, don't draft. I don't know if he said don't draft our wide receivers, but he said he was going to spread the ball around. I mean, he hasn't said that. He hasn't said that this year, but I mean, you can kind of predict that happening again with all these kind of wide receivers. But yeah, it's just. And when I looked at, Tony's ADP and underdog, it's 72, which is, what is that? The end of the, 6th round or 7th round around there. Yeah, that's just unbelievably high.
Yeah,
and you could be taking other people that are way better.
Yeah, well, in these underdog drafts, of course, the wide receivers get bumped up, but Jack has his ESPN ADP is 123.
123. I mean,
massive range there.
Yeah,
but in these underdog drafts, they're chasing that elite upside. Tony's a super talented, athletic player that we saw him go crazy in the Super Bowl.
I didn't even bring this up, but I thought it was like he missed.
Yeah, he's injury prone.
He missed 14 games in his first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
or maybe he played 14 games in his first 2 seasons. Not much difference, but
this dude's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah,
You remember in Twitter, he's finding all of his trolls and going.
Yeah, no, I think
he's funny.
And he's crazy overrated though. I mean, he had those 2 or 3 crazy games with the Giants.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's been
I wouldn't say it's crazy overrated because he's very talented.
He's very talented, but I just think
he's a guy that
so
really fun to get excited about this guy. But it's
for
hard
sure.
to,
he's
hard
very
to
talented, great wide receiver, but for
consistency.
Fantasy, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's why I have Tony as my first wide receiver.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, he could. Yeah, whatever. big range of outcomes.
Wow.
My first wide receiver bust is DK Metcalf. He's currently getting drafted on Underdog, I want to say top 25, top 30 overall. This is a guy that we're really excited about him. He finished top 15, top 10 in fantasy points overall, but actually in fantasy points per game in the last 2 years, he's been outside the top 20 in both years. They add JSN, they add Charbonnet, like I talked about already. They should still air it out, but I don't think Metcalf's going to get all the attention like he did last year. I think he can spread it out more. There's so many great options. It's not just going to be Metcalf getting the ball every time. It's really interesting to me, actually, why everybody is low on Geno, not thinking he can continue his play from last year. But then everybody is still as high and on Lockett, JSN, and Metcalf, thinking all three of these guys are going to be able to be supported by him.
Right.
I just don't think it just doesn't add up for me. This is too high for me to be drafting this guy. Obviously, super talented player. I love him as a player. It's just the situation in fantasy is too many question marks for me.
For sure. Too many weapons on that.
Yeah,
Offense.
Seahawks could be a good team, honestly. But
Yeah, pretty good.
you have a bust?
So I'm gonna go with Mike Evans. I mean, just huge downgrade at QB. I mean, to go from the greatest quarterback of all time to Baker Mayfield is, that's pretty bad. And then we still saw great production with Jameis Winston, but I mean,
That's because Jameis Winston just chucked the ball downfield.
yeah.
So.
But I don't know. Baker Mayfield's he's not a great decision maker, and he's just not a very good quarterback. And I just think, and also Mike Evans is getting older. He's getting up in age, so I just don't think he's going to be very good this year.
Yeah, he's usually a good bet for 1,000 yards every season, but
For sure.
consistency is really not there. Like last year, he had a game that's like 45-point game.
Right, yeah.
It's all over the
Yeah.
place. His
And-
totals might get skewed in averages by those big games, because he can easily also finish a game with 3 fantasy points.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it was bad.
yeah, especially like Dal said with Baker, this passing offense is not gonna be good. Even though they're gonna be forced to pass, it's just not gonna be good. You might get my gosh, you might get a lot of targets, but quality of targets
who
not gonna be
knows?
good.
'Cause
with
Chris
Baker.
Godwin's also still another great receiver for them.
Chris Godwin was a.
I mean, just
Rashad White
so
is expected.
last year. Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
they're going to be running the ball, and then Baker's probably going to be dropping it off to Rashad a lot, and it's just going to be it's not going to be good for those two receivers. Big downgrade this year.
You can talk about your next one too.
Odell, I think people are too high on him. I get that Lamar likes him so much. I don't care. Odell's not going to be that good.
I
Coming
saw
up.
something just recently that Lamar had tweeted about Rashad saying he's a clear wide receiver one. So he tweeted something like that.
About who?
Clear wide receiver.
About
one.
Rashad.
Oh,
Right.
actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said he's looking
Okay.
great from the
I mean,
injury.
yeah,
that
and
I
then-
can see that he's a former first-round pick.
yeah.
But
I don't know why he wanted. I mean, it's Odell Beckham Jr. Of course.
It is. He's so great, but he's coming off his bad injury. Hasn't played football in over a year. Hasn't even been in an organization in over a year. So it's just, and then just getting older. It's not like he's getting any younger.
Another concern, they
So-
drafted Zay Flowers first round this year.
Yeah.
They're surrounding Lamar with all these weapons. It's going to be hard for Odell to overcome that and stay as the true alpha wide receiver one. You have other bust or no?
I know. For wide receiver.
I have Christian Watson.
Oh wait.
Dallas not going to like this.
I have
Jack has him too.
I have
Okay.
Christian Watson too. I totally forgot about him.
Dallas originally had him as a breakout, but
I mean,
I think we kind of, he's scared of coming on here
me. I
and getting hated on by me and
I
Jack,
have-
the smarter people.
I have a lot of stuff I have to say about him. You want to start, Alec? You want me to talk about him? All right. So Jordan Love at QB, Aaron Rodgers gone.
Dude.
So massive downgrade. Dallas
You
didn't
guys
agree.
doubt-
Dallas
you
didn't
guys
agree
doubt.
with massive downgrade.
You guys-
But
He is a massive
Down.
downgrade.
Aaron Rodgers,
You
one of the
don't know
greatest
that
of all
yet.
time.
Top
I've
5
never
quarterback all time
Okay,
to
I know.
Jordan Love.
We
Come
don't
on.
know that. Maybe,
Jordan Love wasn't
maybe-
even bad preseason. So from weeks 10 to 18 last year, he was only on target for 65 receptions. A lot of his success comes from
touchdowns.
deep passes.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a vertical
And
threat.
we don't
Right.
know. Aaron Rodgers was great at deep passes. We don't know what Jordan Love is able to do with deep passes.
Good point, good point.
And so I kind of researched more into Watson, and his 2022 total fantasy points was 164, and 1/3, so 33% of his points were touchdown points, so points from touchdowns, which is definitely on the higher side.
yeah.
So, and we obviously know in fantasy football, touchdowns are not sustainable.
No.
They're kind of, I wouldn't say lucky, but
Yeah, so he had 9
Fair.
NFL 9 touchdowns last year. And I want to say at least 6 of those came from the final.
it was just like a stretch, like from like in the middle end of the year. It was
Okay.
kind of where he had all those.
Jack also, when he was
yeah.
looking into it, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, like
Yeah.
on like
And
5 total carries in the season. Super
also-
unsustainable here.
Yeah.
The
and
expected
also,
touchdowns was a lot lower.
another thing is 0 games last year with 9 or more targets. So his max targets last year that you saw was 8
Yeah, Packers just
with
drafted
Aaron Rodgers.
2 rookie wide receivers, so
Mhm.
it's hard to say they're really committed to Watson, but
Yeah.
he's talented.
And lastly here about Watson is an underdog. He's getting drafted at 41,
That's
which
holy
I just
crap.
laugh at because
That's crazy. That is crazy.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been hearing reports out of camp that Romeo Doubs might be Jordan Love's go-to guy. I don't know how much I'm buying into it because last year we did see the Doubs
probably,
hype
though.
over Watson, but
Because Watson's
we don't know what to expect. honestly,
Watson's
with
probably
this
the more
offense.
deep threat, and then Dobbs is probably the
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
So
and I'm
mid
sure
to short.
Love is more confident throwing those short to intermediate routes instead of
Right.
airing it out.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll touch on this later more, but like you guys hate on Jordan Love too much. You guys haven't seen him play. I think he has great potential.
Dallas
be
has
a
him
good
as a
quarterback.
sleeper,
yeah. So I just talked
stay
about
tuned for our next episode.
I just talked about his ADP underdog being 41. So are you guys drafting like guys like Hopkins, Allen, Ridley?
Look at this.
Metcalf is definitely above him, but yeah, like Ridley, Judy, Allen,
Right,
Hopkins. Are you taking
yeah.
those guys ahead of Christian Watson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Jack, you have Christian Watson at 25.
Ah,
Below guys like
I think
Godwin,
Yeah,
Marquise
yeah.
Brown.
he's
Hopkins.
I think he's kind of in the tier with London and Godwin.
Okay.
I think he probably is higher in that tier.
Yeah, because those two honestly have their same concerns
Yeah.
with the bad offense.
Mm.
We'll see with this guy. It's hard to tell with the Packers offense, but a lot of question marks here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, do you have any more wide receiver?
You want me to talk about him?
Yeah,
You want me to talk about him?
I don't.
Devontae
Right.
Adams.
It's about to get ripped apart.
You guys can go all. I just don't think it's gonna be anything special this year. QB is Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy is not like a great QB, but like I mean I can see him getting the ball consistently to Devontae Adams, but and then Josh Jacobs is also I think he's just a better focal point of the offense. He's just been more consistent. Like last year, is so consistent with getting
Bias.
high fantasy points.
Yeah.
Oh come on!
That's biased. That was
No,
not
he was
last
so
year.
good last year. He was like
I
part
did
of the reason I got
trade
Devontae
him
was
to
good,
Dallas
too.
last year pre-draft. I drafted him though. I knew he was gonna be good.
Why'd you trade him?
Okay,
Traded
so
him, right?
once we got through the draft, I realized I had a bunch of okay running backs, no clear RB1, so I traded like 2 mid RBs for James Conner, which was a running back getting drafted in the second round. It looked good at the time.
You still won the league.
I
though,
still
so
won the league.
It doesn't matter.
I like that. Even though I drafted Najee
First year
Harris
winning
too.
the league. First year winning the league.
Shut up, Zach.
We've
You
only
didn't
been
win
doing
once
this league
either.
for like 4 years. I've won other
I have a
leagues.
win? Nah, we would.
We
do it
are
for
in
one
many
for-
fantasy
Like
football
5.
leagues. We just like to
You
talk
won-
about
Wait,
this one.
Dallas,
You
how
guys
many
won
wins you
5.
have?
Shut up.
Yeah, that's what I
I
thought.
don't want. I got second last year. Shut up. What did you get last year? How many times did I beat you? How many times have I beat you? What's my
Yeah, I
record
beat
against
Alex
you?
last year.
What's my record
It
against
goes
you?
in a circle.
What's
It
my
goes-
record
it goes in a
against you?
circle. You beat
What's
me,
my
I
record
beat
against
Alec,
you?
Alec beat
What
you.
is my record against you?
I don't actually like disagree with Dallas with that much, but I just can't consider Devontae Adams as a bust.
Yeah, same. I don't think
Like,
you can
I
call
just
this guy
can't
that's
get
top
myself to do
5 wide receiver in the league a bust, especially when now he is getting drafted at that discounted price of wide receiver like 7. So, yeah, well,
I mean, he's going in underdog drafts. He's going after guys like
at the 1-2 turn,
Amon Ra, Garrett Wilson. He's going after those guys.
occasionally
Yeah.
I'm taking him above.
Buckets, guys.
He's obviously in the same tier as that.
And then Dallas touched on Jacobs being the focal point of his offense. Of course, he's still not under contract. He could be one guy that we see holding out, especially because I don't know who he's gonna be playing for. Like this Raiders team's not gonna be good. I mean, it could be, but it's the quarterback play. They're not expected to be good, but he can make the case because he's finished as the highest running back in the league in yards, and he can make the case that he's most deserving of a new contract. My tight end breakout is Irv Smith. I think me and Jack kind of share our thoughts on this guy. He was a great prospect coming into the NFL. We're Vikings fans, so he didn't pan out with us as we thought he would. I'm gonna say it's mostly due to injuries and
A lot of drop
a
issues.
few drop issues, but that's to be expected. Rookie tight ends normally can't produce. That's like the rule of thumb in fantasy too. Don't draft rookie tight ends. But now heading over to Cincy, I think this is a great fit.
No.
This Cincy offense could be the best offense in the NFL, and he
Yes.
has a chance to be the third option in this
No.
passing offense.
Fourth.
Yes.
He's fourth.
Oh, fourth. Tyler Boyd.
Dude,
Tyler Boyd.
the 3 receivers.
Yeah, I'm saying Irv
Tyler
can
Boyd's
easily be a better target for Burrow
He
than
averages,
Tyler
like,
Boyd.
40 yards a game.
Okay.
He's a good NFL player, but I think Hurst
He'd be
just
good.
proved that he can do well.
Boyd would be a good
Irv
wide receiver
is
too
talented.
on another team. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It just kind of sucks that he's behind.
Right, yeah,
T.
no,
Higgins
for
and
sure.
Jamar Chase.
But this offense is so much volume. They
Yeah.
run so many plays.
Yeah, there's too much for him to be a breakout, I think.
I'm not necessarily saying that he can finish as a top 3 or 5 guy. I'm saying
Okay.
he will massively outperform his
Okay.
ADP.
Yeah.
He is a clear path to being a tight end 1 for you.
I could see that.
All right, what do you got?
I just got David Njoku. Just great athlete out of Miami. Now he actually has a quarterback to throw to him, not some bum. So Watson is obviously a very talented quarterback, and I think Njoku is a great target for him. He had about 600, 700 yards last year. Only 4 touchdowns, but I think he could up that this year with Watson at the helm.
In 13 full games, he averaged 10.5 fantasy points, which was 7th among tight ends. And for most of the season, that was without Watson. And when Watson came back, he was not good, but we're expecting Watson to bounce back to what he was with Texans before, when now he has a full offseason with the team. He'll be prepared. We think this Cleveland offense as a whole could be a lot better.
Yep.
Okay, we'll wait for that. I have another breakout tight end here. It's Pat Freiermuth.
Yes.
You might view this guy as only a red zone threat. That's the only reason he'll ever be good. But he only had 2 touchdowns last year. He had 3.8 expected, so was expected to double that. But I think this Pittsburgh offense could take a step forward. They could be even better. They were surprisingly good last year. I think Pickett going to second year could be nice for them. He had 9 weeks that he finished in the top 12 tight ends, so that consistency is really there. He's a very solid lock-in tight end 1, and I think he can take a step forward. He is locked in at the 3rd passing option on this offense. He easily could bump up with Pickens and Deontay Johnson.
I'm going to say Darren Waller is going to be a bust this year. Last year with Derek Carr, the quarterback he was with his whole career, didn't get anything over 6 receptions in 2022. Not a lot of targets either. I think the highest he got targets in a game was like maybe 8. And Daniel Jones is just, I don't think he's as good as Derek Carr. Daniel Jones has improved the last year, but it's just being with Daniel Jones is going to hurt him. It's not going to be pretty for Darren Waller this year. I think it's going to take a little bit for him to gel with New York in the new setting.
Do you have him too?
Yeah, I also agree with Dallas here about Waller as a bust. Obviously, did you say downgrade in offense? Or no?
Oh, he downgraded in quarterback. I don't know about offense. Yeah, he could.
Carr to Daniel Jones.
To me,
I think
it's
Carr
pretty
is
similar,
a little
but
bit better though.
okay, yeah, yeah. So, also kind of I don't know if I trust him quite yet with the Giants because Daniel Jones he's not a great passer.
Mm-mm.
He's better. He's all right on the ground. That's where he get a lot of his points. But, yeah, the Giants don't score a lot of touchdowns through the air.
The reason
They like to run, and kind of spread the ball out a lot.
Yep, for sure.
And
Yeah. A lot.
I think I got this stat from ESPN, but this New York offense has the NFL low of 44 pass touchdowns over the past 3 years, which
Jeez.
does not
That is bad.
help Waller's situation at all back in
Mhm.
back in New York, and his Waller's ESPN ADP is 52, so that's getting drafted.
Oh Lord.
I think that's like right after Hawkinson,
Oh God.
and that's just
bad.
like
That's
I
not-
think ESPN, he's tight end 5 on ADP. 4.
Jeez. Yeah, he's gonna be
Yeah.
a bust for sure.
I actually do have him ranked tight end 4 in my rankings. The optimism from me is mostly due to him being focal point of the passing offense here, the Giants. I think their offense could be underrated. Jack mentioned they love to spread the ball out. I think that was because last year they had to. Like, what were they going to do? Throw to Isaiah Hodgins 10 targets a game as their wide receiver 1? No, they had all these little weapons to kind of mix it up, kind of like Mahomes did with those wide receivers. But now Waller coming in, we saw him do it with the Raiders 2 or 3 years ago, where he can dominate. The only thing for me is injuries, but fantasy football, I don't play that way to bank on injuries or to label players injury prone.
yeah.
I
would
think
just
he is
say,
good.
I mean, yeah, you don't like to like count injuries into like a player's success,
Right.
but missing 15 games in the past 2 years is definitely something you have to consider.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So he played just
Which-
over half the games.
Yeah, so it's just a little red flag. That's kind of why.
He's not a young guy, so.
Yeah.
But I think the talent finally giving the Giants that passing offense they have needed. He could easily have 7+ targets every game, and the Giants won't be a bad team in my eyes. I do like Jano Jones a little bit more than everybody else, though, not just his legs. I think he's underrated passer, and he can continue to take a step up. He's still young. Yeah. Get a bust?
Oh, that's my last one.
Last bust, George Kittle for me. I don't like drafting this guy as your tight end 4 overall. I think in that range, especially, I think Jack agrees he doesn't like Kittle or Pitts in this range. He likes to prefer to go to wide receiver. There's so much upside there. You might view Kittle as one of those guys that has so much upside, but he also has so much downside, kind of like Mike Evans, the boomer bust.
Right. Yeah,
And
for sure.
again,
Yep.
don't want to talk about injuries too much, but he's been hurt a lot.
I mean,
Okay.
George Kittle, like as an NFL player, definitely the
Amazing.
second best
Amazing.
tight end. I mean, great at blocking, and just like insanely
Travis
athletic,
Kelce,
great
number 1.
control.
Yeah,
Travis
especially
Kelce.
there.
Obviously, Travis Kelce. Come on.
When he's gonna
Bro,
block
remember
that much,
you
it's gonna
went-
make it
me and
harder.
Dallas
For
Well,
him.
was
that's because
always-
when it was
you and
close.
Yeah, but like
Now Kelce.
we know Kelsey's the best
Kelce
right
has set a edge.
Like Dallas
over.
said with Kittle's blocking, when he's
Yeah.
more engaged in those blocks, it's gonna make it harder for him to stay on the field.
Yeah. Yep.
now. Kelsey will finish
See
as the
that,
best tight end of all time.
All time.
Yes.
That's not a bad take. I don't know.
All right.
Tony Gonzalez.
But I have
Pretty good.
in 9 full games, Kittle played with McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo, all the weapons on the San Francisco offense. He had a 16% target share.
Game, jeez.
Just over 4. It's 4.2 targets a game, and he had
Good stuff.
10 points per game, 10 fantasy points per game. That's a little skewed because he got lucky with touchdowns in those games. Yeah, exactly.
if-
It's hard to predict.
Right.
In that small sample size of 9 games, he
Yeah.
got a ton of touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying with that many options in this passing game, it's going to be hard for them to decide, oh, are we going to just throw to Kittle all this time when they have so many other passing game options, and Brock Purdy's good, but he's not going to go and throw for 400 yards every game.
But yeah, no, like, you have to take into account that Kittle is a good red zone threat, big, catches high points
It's true.
balls. But like, yeah, but I understand what you're saying.
Like he does, the 49ers historically, Shanahan like to run the ball a lot too, with Mitchell and McCaffrey.
Yep.
2 great running backs. Mitchell's very underrated too. So
Oh, yeah, for sure.
we actually do have one more, Kyle Pitts for Jack.
Yeah. I really don't like to say this, but you have to stay away from Pitts this year. Falcons just drafted the best RB prospect, in my opinion, since Saquon and Bijan Robinson, and the Falcons had, who was it last year? Caleb Huntley and Tyler Algier, and they still ran the ball the most in the NFL with those two at running back. And now with the addition of Bijan, they're definitely going to run the ball more.
For sure. They were
And
top 3 or top, maybe they were first in the
I think
NFL in
yeah.
rushing percentage last year.
I think it was 55%,
Yeah.
which
Despite
is
having
extremely
Pitts.
high. And
Despite having Pitts and Drake London.
yeah, I was
two
about
great
to
players.
say, and with Drake London heading into the second year, I think that's even an increase in target share for Drake London, and it just really sucks because Pitts is probably the greatest, one of the greatest tight end prospects.
Oh
we've
yeah, for
seen.
sure. Oh yeah.
And it's just sad to see him kind of be in this situation
Yeah.
where on this run-heavy offense with a QB in Desmond Ridder that is we don't know what he's gonna do. I mean, we're expecting him to.
I mean,
not
hopefully
be
it's
great, but it's
hopefully
just terrible situation.
hopefully he turns around, gets it turned around by like Lawrence did. I mean, we were like his his rookie year, we were like, oh yeah, get Trevor Lawrence out of there, and then the next year they made the playoffs. I mean, hopefully something like that happens. But yeah, don't draft Pitts. It's not looking good this year.
I don't know. The argument with him and London, they're kind of the same. Is their target shares are ridiculous. Like Pitts is just below 30%. I want to say.
Okay, well that's.
I want to say when he was healthy, he had #1 target share out of any tight end. But I think Kelsey was higher.
That's because probably the quarterback threw like 20 times that game.
No, but I think if he's that big of a part in the offense, and we're expecting Ridder to take at least a small step forward, this Falcons offense to be better overall with Bijan.
That's true.
He's a super talented tight end.
I don't think the Falcons will. I think the Falcons will be drafting a quarterback this next year and won't stay with Ridder, but
We'll see what Ridder does.
I
don't know.
hope. I kind of want Ridder to succeed. I mean, coming from Cincinnati, went to the college football playoff and then they got destroyed.
Your heroes Dallas, bringing up college football.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, like the Falcons have so many great guys, talent-wise, that were great in college. Pitts drafted 4th overall, London 8th overall, Bijan 8th overall. It's just a shame they can't put things together right now.
right.
Hopefully they turn it around. I'm rooting for these guys. All right, well that is going to do it for our Breakouts and Bus episode. Stay tuned next week. We will have a sleeper episode dropping.
We want to hear your takes too. Comment down below with your suggestions on your takes and what you think of our takes. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with all your friends. Join our Discord and all our socials. The links are in the bio. See you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.